But there was a quid pro quo that NATO would not move 1 inch to the east. That was the phrase that was used in the interchanges, meaning to East Germany. And on that condition, they went forward. NATO immediately moved to East Germany. When Gorbachev vigorously protested, naturally, he was informed by the United States that it was only a verbal commitment. It wasn't on paper. The unstated implication is if you're naive enough to think you can make a gentleman's agreement with us, it's your problem. They didn't say that. I'm saying that. But the NATO moved to East Germany. Under Clinton, moved right up to Russia's borders. Just a couple of weeks ago, U.S. Military equipment was taking part in a military parade in Estonia, a couple hundred yards from the Russian border. Russia's surrounded by U.S. offensive weapons. Sometimes they're called defense, but they're all offensive weapons. And the idea that the new government in Ukraine that took over after the former government was overthrown, last December, late December, it passed a resolution overwhelmingly, I think something like 308 or something, announcing its intention to take steps to join NATO. For no Russian leader, no matter who it is, could tolerate Ukraine right at the geostrategic center of Russian concerns joining a hostile military alliance. I mean, we can imagine, for example, how the U.S. would have reacted, say, during the Cold War if the Warsaw Pact had extended to Latin America and Mexico and Canada were now planning to join the Warsaw Pact. Of course, that's academic because the first step would have led to a violent U.S. response and wouldn't have gone any further.
It began 8 years ago. Since then, Russia has illegally occupied Crimea and unleashed a hybrid war in Ukraine's Donbas region. Crimea is now a territory of fear. The persecution of Crimean citizens is commonplace, as are human rights abuses. Russia continues its militarization of the Black and Azov Seas. Ukraine is consolidating international support to counter Russian aggression. Together with our partners, we are creating a new framework for regional and global security. The launch of the Crimea platform has been a major milestone. We have united 46 countries and international organizations. The deoccupation of Crimea now sits at the top of the international agenda. Today, the situation is still tense. Since spring 2021, Russia has significantly increased pressure on Ukraine and the wider Europe by the continued build-up of a large military force at our borders. In response, Ukraine has rallied a global coalition. Together, we are adopting 3 key strategies to counter Russian aggression. The first is proactive diplomacy. Kyiv is now at the center of international politics. The second is a package of severe economic sanctions. This will ensure that Russia pays the highest price if it resorts to further aggression. The third is military support. Ukraine has already received more than 2,000 tons of defensive weapons, equipment, and ammunition. I am confident that by standing together with our international partners, we can stop Russia. After all, stopping Russian aggression and restoring Ukraine's territorial integrity is the only way to restore security in Europe. Stand with Ukraine.
Pues en esa Crimea, que ha votado abrumadoramente sí a la secesión de Ucrania y a su unión con Rusia, está Óscar Mijallo, enviado especial de Televisión Española. Óscar, buenos días. A partir de este momento, ¿cuáles son los plazos para hacer oficial la anexión a la Federación Rusa?
Bueno, pues todo indica que podría ser muy breves porque las nuevas autoridades de Crimea han decidido acelerarlos lo más posible. De hecho, en unos minutos, a las 10 de la mañana hora local, las 11 hora española, podría comenzar, si no antes, una sesión extraordinaria del Parlamento en el que se van a ratificar los resultados de la consulta de ayer que las autoridades crimeas han calificado de victoria aplastante para los partidarios de unirse con Moscú. Después se va a enviar una delegación especial que podría llegar a Moscú incluso esta misma mañana para presentar oficialmente su solicitud de integración en la Federación Rusa, y más tarde esta solicitud abriría el camino para que se empezara a preparar un tratado bilateral en el que tanto la nueva República Independiente de Crimea o la autoproclamada República Independiente de Crimea con la Federación Rusa establecieran los términos de la integración y de la posterior relación entre ambas repúblicas. Y finalmente habría una votación en el Parlamento ruso entre las dos cámaras y es un trámite que debería durar podría durar en condiciones normales varios meses, pero que tanto los rusos como los crimeos han dicho que podría estar listo en tan solo unos días.
Nuclear ballistic drills have been underway. Let's show you the very latest pictures. These have been released by the Russian Defense Ministry in the last hour. Well, these are events which have been brought forward by President Putin, announced. I'm just going to wait and let these pictures run, actually. They're extraordinary. These are the other pictures. Now, we are presuming this is the Black Sea. This is a very edited video put out by the Russian Ministry of Defense. Effectively, in this situation, you'd call it a propaganda video. It's been well edited, as you can see. One wonders if this was filmed in advance, but you'll come to the pictures of the launch, which presumably took place today. A submarine-launched ballistic missile, a part of these tests which are underway. There it is. That is a Sineva missile. Part of the annual strategic Grom drills, which have been brought forward by the Russians. They normally take place in late summer or early September, brought forward. You've seen pictures also of the Russian president sat in a control room alongside the leader of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, who is there to witness it. And certainly yesterday they talked about being actively involved in these missions. But all of this, a real show of strength by the Russian government, bringing forward these various different nuclear-capable missiles by air, by sea and by land. That is what we have seen so far from them. So there we go, actually firing some of these missiles. And a statement released by the Russian Defense Ministry under the leadership of the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. A planned exercise of the strategic deterrence was held, during which ballistic and cruise missiles were launched. But certainly very keen to show their capabilities, as I said, by land, by sea and by air. We'll get more analysis of those pictures later on, certainly.
Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, в соответствии с принятыми вами решением, сегодня под вашим руководством проводится учение сил стратегического сдерживания, на котором будут отработаны вопросы управления ядерным оружием и оружием повышенной потенциальной опасности в едином контуре управления в ходе проведения операций стратегических наступательных сил. К учению привлекаются силы и средства воздушно-космических сил Южного военного округа, ракетных войск стратегического назначения Северного и Черноморского флотов будут продемонстрированы пуски гиперзвуковых аэробаллистических ракет авиационного ракетного комплекса «Кинжал» и противокорабельной гиперзвуковой крылатой ракеты «Циркон». Порядок проведения учений доложит начальник Генерального штаба генерал армии Герасимов Валерий Васильевич.
Товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, основная цель проводимого учения – отработка действий стратегических наступательных сил по нанесению гарантированного поражения противнику. Учение проводится в два этапа. На первом этапе будет отработан вопрос ведения военных действий с применением оружия повышенной потенциальной опасности. И на втором этапе вопрос санкционирования и массированного применения стратегических наступательных сил Российской Федерации в ответ на встречном ударе.
Боевая тревога. Ракетное оружие к бою. Цель надводная номер 1. Групповая корабельно-ударная группа противника. СУС включен, начальные параметры введены. Готов к режиму ввод. Вероятность накрытия единица. Начать перестарту подготовку назначенных ракет. Район стрельбы осмотрен, район стрельбы чист.
ВКП штурм до точки пуска 1 минута. 3, 2, 1, корабль в точке.
元首的破坏引领下，中俄双方始终坚持在不结盟、不对抗、不针对第三方发展长期互利友好和互利合作关系，为促进国际和地区和平与发展做出的贡献有目共睹。世界上谁是真正的麻烦制造者，谁是真正的安全威胁者，国际社会看得十分清楚。任何自私自利、嫁祸他人的做法，不仅会对本国和本国人民造成伤害，而且会给世界各国人民带来伤害。